What's up, everybody? My name's Ethan.
I'm Heathrow.
And welcome back to Podcast Material. We're really happy that you came back to listen with us again, and we've got a really silly show for you today. So thanks for coming, and we hope you subscribe, like, and comment on our platforms, and you stick around and stay tuned for all the fun to come.
Welcome in, everybody. On today's episode, we are going to cover the silly and random topic of berries. We kind of hinted at this a little bit on the last episode because we were diving into some of our foods that we would choose to eat. And fun fact about Ethan is that he is someone who doesn't like berries. He might even be called a berry hater.
Some would say, some would call me that.
I think I've called you a berry hater.
Yeah, you have. And it's not a title that I can reject, but I don't like berries. I try every year. I try a couple berries, just to see, because I really want to like them. I see people eating berries in the summertime, and I'm like, damn, that looks so good. But I just cannot. There's something about the texture, So it's kind of like I don't really like. Yeah, I don't like any berries. I don't think, or at least like your typical from the bush berries, Right.
And I just want to say too, I think this is a safe place.
Thank you.
You should really just be honest with your feelings about berries. I know in the past I may have attacked you for your stance on berries with others as well.
Hey, you're just one person in the angry mob.
I was thinking about it more, and I think potentially part of it is that I've grown up in the Pacific Northwest and we're so big on berries. And I know you have too, but you came from the East Coast a bit later in your childhood, and maybe the berry just wasn't instilled in you as much as it was us Pacific Northwesterners.
Yeah, it wasn't like prominent enough in my like toddler diet.
Right. Yeah. Maybe the berries weren't celebrated. They weren't, offered to you as much.
So here's the thing. I'm kind of also like fruit adverse. Like I don't eat a lot of fruit in my daily life. I'll eat like bananas and apples and oranges.
Okay.
Oranges, clementines. I used to like more fruit. I used to love like peaches and nectarines. But when I got to be a certain age, I realized that I really didn't like cooked fruit or like hot fruit.
Okay.
Like I really didn't like pies. Like I had a cherry pie once, and everyone was like, this cherry pie. And I was like, this cherry pie is disgusting. Like, what is this? Like sick shit. And so I just couldn't do it. And I think that was just like a little parasite in my brain that just like spread throughout and was like, you don't like fruit, you don't like berries. And so then I kind of have like convinced myself that I don't like them.
Oh my gosh, dude.
I do like apple pie now. I'll just go ahead and say that. Love apple pie.
Okay.
But I still can't get behind like most warm fruit or berries. And so, like I said, I do try them every once in a while. And actually, I can eat raspberries if they're like on a cake. I'm a big fan of like raspberries, but they have to be like covered in like whipped cream or something else,
Okay. Since we're going down this road, I think I'm going to ask you a couple of scenarios, and I want you to say yes or no. Would you eat this berry dish?
Okay.
Right.
I'm into this.
So you have established hot cherry pie is a no.
It's a hard no.
Which I can't necessarily blame you. And we want your feedback in the comments too, you guys listening on Spotify or YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Let us know what you guys think about fruit in general. I know Ethan is likely not the only berry hater out there, and we'd be interested to see, what are the numbers? How many berry haters are out there? Mm-hmm. Okay. So cherry pie, I can almost relate to the grossness of it. I don't know. I can't quite put my finger on it. It's a bit mushy. It's a bit hot. It's kind of like a hot thing popping in your mouth.
Yeah. Glad to have some affinity there with you.
Anyway, I just think there's something. I can see what you mean. It's the skin. It's the juice. It's the rubber. It's the hot.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say you're at a brunch with some friends and you go to their house and they have just like bowls of like fresh fruit. Like a fresh bowl of blueberries and strawberries, raspberries, blackberries. Do you load up your plate with the fresh fruits, or do you skip the fresh berries?
I just skip them. I'll take strawberries, This actually happens at lots of brunches, right? It's like the fruit salad, especially at like my in-laws brunch, right? They'll have a fruit salad with lots of fruit, and I usually just pass it on. They know that though, so they'll pass it on. And I don't really like fruit in other things. Like people like to put even fruits I do like apples in salad. I don't like it. I don't feel like it belongs there. And I know that maybe in like a nice Waldorf salad you'll put an apple in there or something.
Yeah.
Not for me. Not for me.
Dang,
Maybe
dude.
I'll take some of the salad and then there'll just be like a pile of apples there that I'll eat after I eat the salad because for whatever reason I just cannot eat it with my salad.
Dude, I can't believe this. My heart breaks for you again, dude. Over and over, my heart breaks for you.
Oh man, well thank you for thinking of me.
Like me, I'm a berry person. I'll load up berries and kind of look. Do more people want berries, or is it cool? And then I'll kind of like come back and maybe just like grab a berry, and just be like, okay, you guys having berries or so? Okay.
Well, I don't want to steal them, so yeah.
That's wild. That's amazing, dude.
Yeah. So I want them to be for the people.
Wow, dude. Wow. Okay.
Did you have another scenario?
Oh yeah. I've got a couple more scenarios here, and okay. I'm surprised. I didn't quite remember that you were a hard no on the fresh berries, even. Which I'm like, damn. How do you say no to a fresh blackberry?
I know, man. That's the problem.
Man. Okay. Here we go. You're having a blackberry milkshake.
No.
Okay.
No,
no,
I'm not.
He's not.
I'm not.
Wow. See, that was even beyond. My question went further. There's a blackberry on top. Do you eat the blackberry? You don't even take a bite of it. Wow.
I'm not having like a fruit milkshake. No.
Okay.
Again, strawberry.
There goes our Burgerville sponsorship.
I'm down with strawberry.
Yeah, I think strawberry is the most likable strawberry. Tell me what you like about strawberry.
Strawberry is your favorite strawberry. I don't know, just the flavor in general. It's like easy to palate. And when you bite into a strawberry, it doesn't like pop in your mouth. It's like a firm, crisp bite.
I will say, yeah, I understand that.
It's like firm and crisp, kind of like the way you eat an apple.
Yeah, it's like to the point. There's nothing unexpected.
It's not going to like pop in your mouth. Like I don't really like Gushers for the same reason. Like I'm not a fan of Gushers because they like pop in your mouth. And
I fuck with the Gusher.
Yeah. Dude,
I fuck with the
know,
Gusher so hard.
I know. People fuck with Gushers hard, but I just can't do it. I can't do it. But I do like, like jams. Like I like strawberry jam, raspberry jam, blackberry jam. Don't like cherry jam. I think I'm just like anti-cherry.
Dang, you got scarred by that hot cherry pie.
Dude, yeah. Yep.
Darn.
I tried a cherry last summer just to like see, and I was like, okay, I like kind of get like a fresh cherry. I like kind of got it, but I just couldn't bring myself. It was like a mental block. I couldn't bring myself to have another one.
Oh man. Oh no. I'm so sorry for you, dude. Here in the Pacific Northwest, we have Rainier cherries. They're like the best. I feel like they're the best cherries in the world. Okay, a couple facts about our berries in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, hit us.
Let me double check this fact.
Rainier cherries. Are we a berry capital of the world? Rainier cherries.
Here's the fact.
Okay, I'm ready for this fact.
I made up. This is hilarious. Now that we have a podcast, I can't just like say random shit. I can't just be like, "Hey, I heard this fact. Let me just share it with whoever's listening."
Yeah, people are gonna call you out on some
just because it like stays here. It stays on the internet. I've said it. It came through.
Yep.
But no, this fact that I heard is that Oregon and Washington produce a lot of berries: blackberries, blueberries, raspberries. The Marionberry, which was actually invented in Oregon. Invented because the Marionberry is a cross between a certain berry. Yeah, of course I knew that. A Marionberry, I think, is a cross between a blackberry and a raspberry.
Really? Whoa.
Actually, Marionberries seem to be a variety of blackberries that were invented.
Oh, here. Okay.
Why don't I have this fact on lock?
Do you have like a list of facts written down somewhere?
I just did a bunch.
Or you just like looked at facts and then closed the tabs? Sick.
I thought I would remember them. But no. Okay, so they're a type of blackberry. They're specifically a hybrid between a Chehalem and a Oleberry blackberry. Okay. So they were like developed by this dude, George Waldo.
Where's Waldo?
At OSU.
Okay.
And the Marionberry was named after Marion County in Oregon, which is where it was first widely grown.
Okay.
Oregon produces over 90% of the world's Marionberries.
Okay.
Marionberries are juicier and sweeter and slightly tart compared to regular blackberries.
Yeah, who says that? I wouldn't know.
Damn, dude, you really just hate berries. You fucking hate berries, dude. Let me tell you some health facts about berries. Some berries they're the most antioxidant rich food.
Okay. Most antioxidant rich.
And antioxidants fight stress and inflammation, bro. Maybe that's why you're so stressed out.
Yeah.
This guy's never had a berry.
For sure, dude. That's why my shit is so high.
We gotta get you on like some crushed berry pills.
Yeah.
Strawberries have more vitamin C than oranges.
Okay.
So these are berry facts. Let's see. What was I talking about though? The Marionberry invented in Oregon. That's a fact about the Marionberry.
Yeah, you were just talking about like how great the Pacific Northwest is in in regards to berries.
Yeah, we have a very heavy berry culture.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if most the mass majority of Marionberries are grown in the Pacific Northwest, and then I know that like cherries are really popular in Washington too.
And we export a lot of our cherries and just berries in general to different countries around the world. And sometimes that can kind of impact our local supply. But I can't complain because, yeah. I think we grow the best berries in the world.
I mean, you would know. You would know better than someone else I know.
What's really interesting is like I'm having this conversation with you, and every time I talk to you, I expect you to be pro berry. I just haven't gotten it through my head even through 25 years.
Because it just doesn't make sense, dude. It doesn't make sense.
Anti-berry.
I know.
Okay.
Well, okay, so I just said that cherries are grown a lot in Washington, but are cherries technically berries?
So we probably should define what is a berry and what is not a berry. And I did some research before the podcast because I actually didn't know the full definition.
For sure. I think I've had this conversation a few times around what is a berry, because it's actually surprising because I don't like berries, this topic comes up a lot, because it's not all berries I don't like. It's just things that are traditionally considered berries.
Exactly. So there's two types of berries, if you will. In the fruit world, there are things that are called true berries, and then others that are called aggregate fruits. But the real definition is it actually has to do with their ovaries. If a fruit is developed on a single ovary, that is a true berry because it has its single ovary.
Okay.
So grapes, bananas, kiwis, eggplants fall in there.
Yep.
Could be a true berry over that single ovary. And then so you're fine with tomatoes. You like tomatoes?
Yeah.
Dude likes tomatoes. Do you like grapes?
I do like grapes.
Interesting.
I do like grapes because they're kind of firm.
Yep.
They don't turn into mush.
Okay, so this I think we're drilling down to your berry hatred, and it's really coming down to texture, I think.
Definitely.
Bananas.
It's definitely a texture issue.
Do you like bananas?
I'm down with bananas if they're not super soft.
Okay. This guy likes it firm. Okay. How about an eggplant? A cooked up eggplant?
Sometimes.
Yeah. Okay.
I think an eggplant really has to be cooked really well. I've had some really good Japanese style eggplants that were marinated in miso, or and they're still kind of firm, and you score them and they just put on
texture,
the grill.
Dude,
so good. That's so good. I'm not a big fan of the mushy. I'm gonna get some hate for this, but like eggplant parmesan, I can't do it. It's too mushy. Even with the cheese and the sauce on there, I just can't. I can't do it. I'll try it, but I'm gonna try it to tell you I don't like it. So.
I feel like I can even recall your face, when people are like, "Come on, just try it," and you're just like, "I'm not gonna like it."
Yeah.
Here's the thing, gonna try it.
Right, I'm gonna try it. I'm not gonna like it, but I do want to keep trying it because there have been some things over the course of my life that I've said I don't like that I then end up liking later. For a long time, I did not like avocado because it was too mushy. I didn't get it. I grew up, on the East Coast, and we really, honestly, we didn't really get exposed to avocado or didn't have it a lot until my stepdad came into our lives. Alan, shout out Alan, and he lived in California, and he would eat avocado all the time, and I didn't really. I mean, even then, I still didn't really like it until I actually had my friend's guacamole that he made fresh, and I was like, this shit is bomb. Nice. And from then on, I can just eat avocados with a spoon. I can just throw a little salt on there and just chow it down. So it's been, so I can learn to like these things. And I just have to keep exposing myself to them, I have to keep going for it.
Dude, this sounds deeply psychological yet tactile.
Sure, yeah.
Right.
Because I don't like that I don't like this. Like, if it's a thing that so many people like, I don't like that I don't like them. You
Yeah.
know? Like, I
Yeah.
think maybe calling me a berry hater is like a little extreme
Right.
because I don't like hate the fact that there are berries. You know, I don't like believe that nobody should like them. You know, I'm just like, I'm a little adverse to them. You know, like
Yeah.
I don't know them well enough yet. You know, so if anyone has like tips or ideas, I actually love berry smoothies. Like if you get some frozen mixed berries and throw them in a smoothie with like some Greek yogurt, some honey, you know, mix that up. That's really good. So it is. You're right. It is
Yeah.
totally a texture, as like psychological thing. I'm like, so yeah. If there is anyone out there that also doesn't like berries, shout it out. Shout it out. You're not alone.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
can.
We're again, this is a safe space. We don't, we want to talk about these things and explore them deeper.
Yeah, we want to get through it together. We want to
Like
get
get
through it
through it
together,
together.
you guys. Yeah.
Okay. I don't necessarily feel like we've finished up definition. Sorry, everybody.
Okay. Yeah. No. Let's wrap
So
that up.
so we did the true berries. We kind of just discussed that, and kiwis fall in there too. I was going to ask you real quick. What about kiwis? Can you get down on kiwi, or is it a texture thing?
I like kiwi flavor, but I'll be honest, I've never tried fresh kiwi before.
Okay. I mean, I have a feeling you probably wouldn't like it. It kind of falls near, other berries. It's kind of mushy. It's although man, it's tart.
Is
and
it
sweet,
mushy?
though.
I feel like when I
It
see
can
it
be.
on on a spoon, it looks like kind of when someone scoops them out, it like looks kind of firm,
It can be.
but it kind of like mushes.
It mushes a bit, and there's skin. So, fun fact about me and fruit: I can eat kiwi skin. I'm down to eat some kiwi skin. I think I'm maybe not in the norm there.
Yeah,
I'll
I
just
haven't
take a
heard about
bite.
anybody else. Oh wow,
Sure.
it's like just like apple or peach style, just like bam bam,
Just hairy
straight
kiwi.
bites.
Hairy kiwi.
Damn.
Just hairy
Whoa.
bites of kiwi, dude.
Whoa.
Uh it's just because I'm someone who likes extreme sour or extreme tart. And so you get some good
Mm,
tart. And the hairs is like, it's not as hairy as you would think.
sure. Do you just like bite into oranges too? Do you just like go
No,
straight
dude,
into
that's
an
too
orange?
much. That's hella bitter. I can't just take a no.
Dude, what about like an onion? You just like bite right into an onion? Probably no.
I mean,
Only true psychos do that.
have you seen people doing this Balkan breakfast trend?
Yeah.
I would
It's
try
kind of
that.
chill.
I
Yeah.
would try that where they just like chomp into like a whole onion and like a whole bell pepper and a cucumber and all this shit.
Yeah. There's like a
And,
whole loaf of bread.
a whole loaf of bread, right? Um, so I might eat an onion in that style.
Sure. I definitely eat raw onion. If I'm like cooking or something and there's like some raw onion,
Yeah.
I'll eat it. Obviously on sandwiches, it's good, but
Yeah,
yeah. Otherwise, yeah, I don't think I'd ever take just like a straight bite of an onion
yeah.
unless it was for like a dare or a bit.
Man, there are probably a lot more onion haters than berry haters.
That is definitely true.
I
My
feel like
wife hates onions.
onions are polarizing.
Mm-hmm. It's funny. I feel like there are a lot of like really polarizing foods out there.
Yeah,
Like onions for sure. Mushrooms
Yeah.
is a big one.
mushrooms is a big one.
Mushrooms is huge.
Yep.
Seafood is like a big one.
Yeah,
people
seafood.
really like. Yeah,
I think meat in general too. Sometimes can be just like, whoa, like you eat meat? Shit, I don't eat meat.
yeah. I feel like that one. I know a lot of people that eat meat. I don't know that I run into that one too often.
I think I'm running into more and more people who are just like, nah.
For sure.
Anyway,
I mean, I think now that the meat industry is so, especially in the United States, it's a lot more obvious how meat is manufactured and animals
Yeah.
are treated and all of that. I think it's becoming more common for folks to be vegetarian. But I don't know a lot of people that eat meat. They're like, ew, this is gross. Like people aren't like, oh man, the way they grow those mushrooms is so unethical, or like
that's
the way
really true. That's really true. And
Right.
sometimes people who even don't eat meat are like, that shit tastes real good,
Yeah, I know a lot
but
of
I
people
don't
that
eat it.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Like I know a lot of like a couple of quote unquote vegetarians that also eat bacon. Like I probably know like 4 or 5 folks that do that. So
I mean, it tastes pretty damn good.
it's so good. It's so good.
Okay,
Yeah.
crazy tangent.
Yeah, but that's what we do here.
That's what we do here. Podcast material, everybody.
Yeah.
And thank you guys so much for taking the time to listen to this. If you're enjoying these episodes, please make sure to leave a comment, subscribe, follow us on YouTube and our socials, TikTok and Instagram. It really helps us out and helps more people discover our podcast.
And if you could give us a review and a rating on, Apple Podcasts or Spotify, that'd be great too. That
That
helps
would
us
be
out a lot.
sick. Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate you. Okay, aggregate fruits are the other sort of false berries. They develop from multiple ovaries rather than the single ovary.
So, okay.
So I think
Is that a strawberry?
that's a strawberry
Okay,
and a
because those seeds are on
raspberry
the
and a
outside.
blackberry. Yeah,
Oh, raspberries and blackberries aren't even technically berries.
exactly. They're actually technically
Oh,
aggregate fruits, dude.
posers.
Posing
Fucking
fruits.
posers.
Yeah. So some common aggregate fruits, it's mostly just like the ones we just mentioned: strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, boysenberries, loganberries, cloudberries,
Fuck.
salmonberries, wineberries, dewberries, and mulberries.
Okay, so what is up with this term berries?
All aggregate fruits called berries. What is up?
It's like, what is going on? Who was like, yeah, that's a berry, But it's not, you know? I wonder which came first, the definition of berries or someone calling things berries, right? Was there someone like a scientist who was like, okay, we're going to name all these things berries and then all these things are aggregate fruits. And then probably some man was like, these are berries. These are berries because they're small and delicious and they'll pop in your mouth and we'll bake them in pies and call them berry pies. And then scientists was like, no one listens to science, and the man was like, shut up, they're berries. I have a feeling that's probably exactly how it went.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like how everything else goes, right?
Yeah, right, dude. Okay, well, I am curious to know if that is actually how it went down.
I'm hoping to get more information on how berries were named, but it's going to take further research, I think. I wasn't expecting to go this deep into the history and lore of berries necessarily, but we can. I don't think.
Sure, I mean, or stay tuned for berry episode number 2.
Stay tuned for berries part 2. Bro, did you see recently this berry going viral? This luxury strawberry from I think it's Japan.
Yeah, it comes in like a little container.
It comes in a single container and they're typically $50 each.
Whoa.
Yeah, dude.
Whoa. I think I did see them on TikTok. I think some like LA influencer bought one at Erewhon or something.
Yeah, something like that, right? So I guess we already discovered that you do like strawberries, so you probably would eat that. So
I would eat it, but I don't know that I would pay, I don't know that I would pay $50 for a strawberry.
I thought the only reason that it was like so expensive is because it was so symmetrical. Like it just looked really nice. But it's called the Oshi strawberry. It's a luxury berry. Let me find out.
Cherry berry.
$50 each. I should grow those in my garden.
Yeah. I wonder if it's got to be special to Japan. I mean, you could probably grow them, I guess, if you got them, but I wonder how expensive those seeds are.
Ooh, interesting. You could buy one and start a farm.
For sure.
Oh man.
Whoa, that would be
Yum.
crazy.
I'm ready for some strawberries now.
I wonder if they have like some kind of copyright, like some Monsanto type shit.
Maybe.
Like only they can grow them.
Oshi strawberries are expensive because they're grown indoors in a controlled environment, which allows for year-round availability and high quality.
They're that endo.
That's
Those
it.
endo strawberries. Okay, so they're just all natural, straight up, wonderful strawberries.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Maybe we should go in together and buy one for the podcast.
We can split one.
Yeah. Oh man, that's crazy. I think we defined what berries were. We talked about like why I originally started to have a little bit of a distrust
For berries.
Distrust of berries. But I'm willing to try.
Have we been talking about this for 46 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, I think we started around the 15-minute mark, but it's still been like 30 minutes of berries.
Let me make sure I'm not forgetting any fact about berry that I wanted to share with you. Damn. I'm hungry for berries now.
Okay. I want to do a quiz with you.
I'm ready for your quiz.
Okay.
What are you quizzing me on?
So our listeners might not be, keen on this, but I come from a family of New York Jews, and my dad grew up going to synagogue. We went to synagogue a little bit when I was growing up there, but I'm not a very religious person. But my grandma, my dad's mom, my nana, excuse me, sorry, R.I.P., would use a lot of Yiddish words. And do you know about Yiddish? Do you know what Yiddish is?
Yeah, I mean, Yiddish. Do I know what Yiddish is?
Well,
Damn, dude, shit. Do I know what Yiddish
I
is?
don't know if you know what Yiddish is.
I mean, Jewish people speak Yiddish.
Yes. Yiddish is like a
It's a dialect.
it's a dialect, or kind of like a, I don't want to call it slang, but it was kind of a yeah, I think maybe a dialect is the right word for it. It was a kind of a an offset of speaking Hebrew, so it's more of like a common Hebrew tongue.
Nice.
And there's a lot of words that you might know that are Yiddish words, and so I want to quiz you on a couple
Okay.
of them, on a couple
yeah.
of them.
Hell yeah.
So here's the deal: I'll say the word,
Okay.
and then if you need me to use it in a sentence or spell it,
Okay.
I can do that. Okay.
Okay. Great.
So we're going to start off with what I would consider a couple of softballs,
Sure.
and we'll maybe get a little harder. Okay.
Great.
Okay.
This is awesome.
Okay. So, can you describe, or what does the word klutz mean to you?
Klutz.
A klutz.
Klutz is a person who kind of like stumbles over themselves, who falls down easily.
Yeah. Nice. It's a variation of oh wait, what? That's not even the. Oh yeah, okay. Klutz. Do you have two left feet? So that's the kind of the definition, right? If you were to use it, someone who is
Yep.
clumsy, right?
Yep.
Trips over stuff. Okay, klutz. Nice. Nailed it. Okay. Let's try this one. Let's try the word nosh.
Nosh. I think I've used nosh before. Like I'm gonna nosh on some chow.
Nice.
Or, just like maybe I'll nosh a little bit before we go to lunch. We're in between meals. Let me nosh.
Yeah. Just like a little taste. Right?
Quick
A little
bite.
taste is
Quick
on the,
bite.
just like a little nosh. Feeling a little hungry, you're gonna have a little nosh.
Bit of nosh.
Nice, dude. 2 for 2. 2 for 2
Let's
on the Yiddish words.
go.
Words. Okay, we're gonna ease into a little bit more difficult. I think. Maybe you'll prove me wrong. How about schlep?
To schlep. Man, I'm gonna knock these out of the park. Schlep is to like carry something heavy across town.
Yeah, nice.
I gotta schlep these berries. This bag of berries, I'm gonna schlep them over to my friends and have some brunch.
Yeah, you better not schlep them over here. All right, nice. 3 for 3. 3 for 3.
Let's go.
Okay. How about the word? Oh man, where was it? The word kvetch.
Ooh, this one's
Kvetch.
difficult. I don't know if I know this right off the bat. Kvetch. Ooh, thank you. I don't know right away, but to me it sort of sounds like to like curse someone. Like I'll kvetch you.
Oh, okay.
You've been kvetched.
Okay. That's not the correct meaning of the word. Do you want me to use it in a sentence for you?
Sure. Yeah. Give me another chance. Use it. Yeah. Use it.
Oh man, we've been walking for a while. I'm totally kvetching.
Totally kvetching.
Or no, sorry, that's not correct. That's not
chafing.
correct.
Is it like Yiddish for chafing?
No. Hold on. Let me use it in a different sentence.
My thighs are kvetching.
So you could say, we've been walking for a long time. My thighs are starting to chafe. And I would say, stop kvetching.
Stop kvetching. Quit your kvetching.
Exactly. No more kvetching from you.
Wow.
Yep. Okay.
Some complaining then.
Some complaining. To whine, to complain.
Neat.
Yep. Gripe. Okay.
Cool.
How about the word? This is a good one. This is a classic one. We're going to go with the word schmuck.
You schmuck. Yeah. Oh man. I didn't realize how much you use Yiddish.
Right? It's kind of in these words you use kind of a lot. So
yeah, you schmuck. It's like you imbecile.
I probably use schmuck more than I use imbecile. So that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, you schmuck. You can also use the word putz is in there also.
Nice.
There's actually, so I don't know if this is actually true. My Nana told me this when I was growing up, and she would always say that there were like 200 Yiddish words for dick.
Nice.
in Yiddish, and so like putz and schmuck all originate from like calling someone a dick.
Nice.
So
Just 1 and 2 of 200.
yep, exactly. We're on a quest to find the other 198. Okay, let's see. We'll do like two more. We'll do two more. Okay. Okay, you might know this word and not know that it's a Yiddish word. And then I might challenge you to spell it. The word tchotchke.
Tchotchke. Tchotchke. Definitely didn't know it was Yiddish. Definitely know what it is. It's just like a little thing. A little collectible.
Yeah, like a little knick-knack.
Tchotchke. You might put it on your shelf. You might buy it when you go visit Disneyland.
Yeah.
You get a tchotchke, and tchotchke is spelled C-H-A-C-H.
Those are the second and the third letter of the word are CH.
Oh man, my brain. Okay, when you said that to me, I didn't picture anything. You said that's the second and the third letter, and it was like, cool. I see the number 2, I see the number 3, and then I see CH.
So it's spelled TCHOTCHKE.
Nice. I was not going to get that.
Tchotchke. Tchotchke.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, we'll do one more.
A bonus.
And this is there's a lot more that we probably use, like the word mensch, which, do you know the word mensch? Kind of like good person, you're a mensch.
Yeah, I think mensch is widely popular from mensch on a bench too.
Yep, totally. And we don't need to go too deep into what that is.
If you it's up to you, dude. This is your topic.
We don't need to go into mensch on a bench. Okay, the word cavelling. Or to cavell.
To cavell.
Mm-hmm.
Right away, I think of compelling, just because it sort of rhymes.
Oh, okay.
Compelling and cavelling. Can you use it in a sentence, please?
Sure. Man, our podcast has been doing so, is doing so well. I'm cavelling.
Shout out listeners, by the way. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for listening. The podcast is going good.
You're making us cavell.
You're making us cavell. Our dreams are coming true. Your dreams come true, cavell.
Yep. Being like extraordinarily happy, like really enjoying the moment you're in.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, nice.
Yeah. So cavelling, which is a word that we got my son this book that's like the book Goodnight Moon. So it's children's book, but they have this one that's called Goodnight Bubala, and it's all these like Yiddish words being used all the time. And there's a grandpa who's always saying, "I'm cavelling," and so we always say it just like that.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
And it's actually the Yiddish word for grandfather is zaidi, or maybe that's just a term for. So it says zaidi is cavelling, and so it's like a hard thing for a 2-year-old to say, but he tries to say it every time, and it's really silly.
Oh my god,
it's really silly. So there you go. You learned some Yiddish tonight,
dude. Yiddish lesson. What was I? We'll figure out my score. We'll put it on the screen.
Yeah, I think you were like 4 for 5 or 4 for 6, because I think those last two were yeah. Not bad, dude.
Cool.
Not bad.
Cool. Wow.
Not bad.
Good show.
Yeah. Thanks for playing. And if folks know more Yiddish words or have a favorite Yiddish word, go ahead and throw that in the comments.
Drop your favorite Yiddish word.
Drop your favorite Yiddish word.
Nice, dude. Great.
Yeah,
nice. Random quiz. We love that. We're going to mix in some quizzes into the podcast. We're going to mix in some random topics. Dude, so we just passed 100 followers on TikTok.
Hell yeah.
Super fun. Shout out all the followers on TikTok. And it gave us the ability to go live. So that's really fun. Keep an eye out for our lives. Podcast material goes live.
Okay, so I want you to try something for me.
Okay, I'm down.
Okay. Open your note.
Okay.
And
my note is open.
Pick one of the things you wrote down.
What? Really?
Yeah, and ask me.
Oh my god. Dude, it's all food related.
Okay.
It's all fucking food related.
Fair.
Okay, hang on. Here's the thing though, is I lost the fucking note. Wait. I got too many notes around here, bro.
Dude.
It was a handwritten note, bro.
Oh no. Wait. Oh man.
Ooh. Here it is, bro.
Yes, let's go.
Found it. If you had to choose one letter to remove from the alphabet, which letter would you remove and why?
Oh shit. Oh man.
It's gone.
Dude, that's a crazy question. So, okay, actually, I've never heard of this question before.
Whoa.
I've never heard this. I know. Shout out to whoever asked it.
Shout out Lucy from TikTok. Lucy. Great question.
So I was thinking about this the other day because growing up, we used to play the alphabet game in the car where when you're driving on a road trip, you try to like see how many, like find the letters in order, and the first person to find all the letters wins. And I feel like the hardest letter is always J. Like there's not a lot of J's out there, like the letter J. And I feel like that's not one that commonly gets thought of like rare letters, like people think like Z or X or Q or, some letter, something like that. So I think I would just get rid of J.
Wow. Okay.
I think it's not used that often. I don't feel like there would be like mass effects of, like there are people who have J in their name. Like we know a few people whose names start with J.
So all of a sudden, all of the Joshes just become Osh.
Yeah, and
that's a choice that you've made.
Yep, and I'll stand by it.
Damn, that's diabolical. I feel like a little bit. Just because like there's no real replacement for J either.
G. You can use a G. You can be Josh with a G.
Gosh, dude. Just going around like gosh, hey gosh, Goshua.
Like Gasper. Gonathan.
All right.
Yeah,
I respect you.
I think I'm sticking with J. I think some of our friends that have J names will be a little upset with me, but
yeah,
I had to choose something.
Kind of sick, but
shit. Well, what letter are you gonna get rid of?
Well, so it's a little unfair because I did have a question I did have some time to think about this.
Sure, but
dude, okay, so I saw this interesting TikTok video on the letter W. And how W doesn't even make a sound.
What do you mean?
It's not a unique sound. It's just like it's a double O essentially.
Okay. Yeah.
You can replace a W with a double O essentially. So in my opinion, I remove the W, you use the double O, life goes on as normal. We're just without.
Oh, that's interesting. So like warriors, just
right.
OOARRIORS.
Yeah. Warriors.
Well, yeah. Whoa.
Like,
that's so many vowels.
Or like my name would just be ROOO.
Yeah. Heathrow.
So that's
whoa.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Wow.
Whoa. You're just saying, whoa. See? You just did it. You just did it without even knowing it. The W is already gone. Actually, I'm convinced we live in a world without the W, and we're just told there's a W.
Man, dude, it's just the deep state. It's just
W
just
doesn't
big letters.
W does not make a noise.
What about the episodes of Sesame Street where they talk about like how important W's are, and like the letter of the day is W, and they're just going around making
more
double O sounds?
More propaganda.
Dude, oh man.
Anyway, I feel like we should tread lightly into this because this could be
people. Big alphabets coming for us.
I swear, there's people that don't want you to know about that.
Man, dude, you changed my view on letters now. Oh no, dude.
Like I said, it's not fair. I had some time to think about it, but
no, but I mean that is.
I'll just have to send you this video. Maybe we can.
W's don't exist.
They really don't. They don't make any noise. All they do is make a double O.
So like if I know somebody named Wayne. their name
Wayne.
Okay, so like double O sounds book, look. I don't think they're the same sound.
They are, dude.
I don't think so. No. If I say like book, I don't like this.
Let's see. What was the example that it was? It was like
hold
on. Dude. Here is the exact proof. You know the word to?
Yeah.
TOO?
Sure, that one.
And TWO?
Yeah.
Same sound, same word. To.
Sure, but two is also a word with just one O.
Well, now you'd spell it with three O's. Oh, yeah.
The
Well,
two thing, you just have to change it up so you know what
three.
grammatically you understand. Grammatically, you understand what you're saying.
Let's see. Hang on. Well, now it'll just be three O's. Well, anyway,
So there'd be one O, two O's, and three O's.
and the three O's is the number.
Oh my god,
Honestly, that's kind of sick. That makes more
that's
sense.
crazy.
Two.
I don't think it makes more sense to have three O's for the number that represents two. If
No, for sure, it would change. It would change.
it would change, yeah.
The
TOO would have to be the number.
Yeah,
Oh man.
and then TOO
Oh man.
is the what? Okay.
That broke my brain a little bit. That's that's good. That's good. Good
Shout out TikTok live folks. You guys follow us on TikTok if you want to check out those lives. We try to go live as often as we can, so come say hello and give us some ideas for the podcast.
Yeah. So you get content like this. So.
Content like this.
Dude, that's awesome.
I've got a few more
awesome.
saved here that I can break out in any moment.
Nice. Nice. Fastest draw in the West. Yeah, it was really easy just to I took a screenshot and then because you can just select font, you can select stuff and I just copy and pasted it into my phone.
Isn't that such a sick feature now that you can screenshot something and then select the text from the screenshot?
It is super dope.
Oh.
It is super dope. And also I feel like sometimes when I screenshot something and then I go to zoom in on it, or zoom in on a picture where there's font that I don't even realize, I end up selecting that font. And I'm like, I didn't even realize that there were numbers on that person's shirt, and then I'm copy and pasting some random bullshit,
No, that's true. That's true.
But it is super cool. It is dope.
It is really
It is dope. Yeah. Little water there. Man.
Hey, dude.
Cool, man. Good shit. Good shit. Okay, I do have a different question to ask you.
Okay.
We talked about it a while ago when we weren't recording, but we were talking about how we do this we typically, a little behind the curtain for our listeners, we typically record on Tuesdays, or we try to record on Tuesdays. And we were talking about maybe trying to record earlier in the day, one day, and you had mentioned that you kind of have a standing lunch with your grandma.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool. I think it's I'm someone who both my grandmas are passed, and I didn't get to spend a lot of time with them when I was growing up. We lived far away. One of them was kind of a royal asshole, and the other one was really sweet, but she lived far away, and I just didn't get to connect, and for whatever reason, kind of lost touch. So I love grandparents. I think that relationships with them is really cool, and so I'm just really interested on how that got started for you, and kind of your take on how you feel about being able to have lunch with your grandma every Tuesday. And, maybe this isn't the most interesting, but I'm interested in your take on it. Kind of knowing about your family a little bit. I'm interested in your lunches with grandma.
Yeah, we hung out today. It was wonderful. We just went through a drive through the gorge and just spent some time together. It's my mom's mom. I'm really lucky. I have two grandparents alive, on my dad's side and my mom's side. On my mom's side, I get to see her every Tuesday, and she's actually Greek. So she's the Greek side of me, or we're practicing Greek together. And I think maybe, I don't know, the past year or so, we've both kind of realized she's getting old. She's in her 80s. And I heard something that was kind of depressing, but also true of it can apply for your parents or your grandparents, but it's just realistically, you have a finite number of times that you get to visit this person. And maybe it's 10 more times. Maybe it's 50. So I don't know. I kind of heard that and was like, whoa, I should maybe maximize those times and just sort of, and she agreed. And we kind of talked about it together. And I think she kind of had reached out and was like, there's some things that she would wanted to do with me, visit my great grandmother's grave and tell me more about her and tell me more about the family. And I think from that, it just sort of spurred into oh, we should probably just do this regularly. So that way, we can soak up the quality time.
That's super cool.
That's really super cool. It's super fun.
Do you find yourself we're still talking about family. And so I know that for everybody, family has different things that come up with it. But do you find that do you find yourself really enjoying that time every time? Has it become kind of a chore or a task already? Or is it kind of a mix? How do you feel about that?
Dude, that's such a good question. I think it can. I've been doing it for maybe a year now, and sometimes some Tuesdays it can be a chore, or maybe I don't feel like it that day, or I'm like low energy or whatever, or it does feel like a chore because she wants to go do something that I'm like thinking is like sort of silly.
For sure.
She wanted to go to this restaurant that it's like not my choice necessarily. It's just kind of like a not great food, but it's like something she loves. So I'm just like, for sure, we'll go there. Like,
Yep.
no problem, no problem.
Because it's more about the time you're going to spend with her rather than like, the food you're going to eat, right?
Yeah, exactly, dude. Man, it is so funny that you bring up this topic today because I was at the gas station getting gas today, and Oregon is actually one of the last states to be able to pump your own gas.
Yeah.
So it's sort of new for us Oregonians, and there's still pump attendants, and there's still people that'll help you if you look like you need help. So I got out and I started pumping, and the pump attendant came over and just said, "Hey, are you all good?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Actually, the pump was acting weird for a second, and I was like, it's kind of beeping in a weird way, but I got the pump figured out. And he just kind of randomly dropped like, "Hey, what are you up to today?" And I was headed to see my grandma, so I was just like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go spend some time with my grandma." And just the way that he was just like, "Man, soak that up the most you can." I miss my grandma a lot. I really love spending time with her, and I think just the fact that this person this morning was like, "Man, enjoy that time with your grandma." We sort of bonded over grandma moments. He was even like, "Man, your grandma's just really understands you, doesn't she? You can like go there and she knows exactly what you need if you're not feeling well or you're not like whatever." I'm like, "Oh, it's so true. Grandmas are so soft and just like, how are you, honey? What do you need? Oh, you're not well. Let me help you or whatever." So
Sure. Yeah.
but yeah, super funny you brought that up because I just randomly talked about it with a stranger today, and we both smiled pretty heavy about it. So
That is funny.
it's
That
pretty
is funny.
special for sure.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
It does feel like a special thing you get to do, and I totally understand those things kind of like becoming, like committing to something like that can totally become kind of like a chore. But it's cool to have these like outside sources of like this person you randomly ran into today, like reassuring you that it's worth it and that like you should enjoy it while you can, because that was kind of my point in asking you the question too.
Yeah.
Was that I didn't get to spend that much time, and I would love to be able to spend more time with my grandma. I even had those chances and I didn't do it because I was like, a teenage piece of shit. And so, like for those reasons, it was kind of like something I missed out on. So when you told me about it, I was really like, that is dope. And I hope that you like keep doing it and really get all you can out of it. So
yeah, man, thanks a lot. I really feel it now, and I'm lucky maybe to be in my mid 30s and kind of be at like a maturity point where I can realize that my grandma is finite, and even if I don't feel like hanging out with her that day or I feel annoyed, that in the grand scheme I'm gonna look back on the times that we've had, even if I didn't want to go to Heidi's in Gresham.
Yeah. Not a shout out for Heidi's.
Like, even though I didn't want to go there, it was still a great time. We still got to sit down and be with each other, and that's it.
Nice, man. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. It's funny that you said that thing about like all grandmas being like soft. I'm sure that there's other people out there that'll disagree with you too.
Yes.
But my mom's mom was like awful. Like awful. And we had some like, I think I can remember a couple of sweet moments, but like I was nothing but a nuisance for her, like I think I was like I was the first grandchild. And so for whatever reason, that grandma was like, nah, like no. But I was my grandpa's like favorite grandchild. And so I don't know, I wonder what it was, but maybe she just like hated kids, because I don't remember her being like sweet to my siblings or my cousins either. And my mom will tell stories about how she was not a nice mother. Like, I'm sure that there were like nice moments or standout things that happened, but
yeah.
So I'm glad you get to soak up these moments with like a nice, caring grandma. And I've met your yaya, which I don't.
Yeah, we're Greek. The Greek word for grandmother is yaya. So,
and I know you lived with her a little bit through high school, and so we would go over there and be hanging out and like smoking your hookah in your room, and she would like bang on the side of the wall and be like, "Go to sleep," and be like, "Oh, sorry." or that, that kind of thing would happen a lot to us. And so I have a lot of fond memories of Yara too. And I'm glad to hear she's still kicking your ass,
Oh,
so to
totally.
speak.
I mean,
So
you're such a member of our family too. Like you're always asked about, and yeah, they just love your name overall. They just love dropping your name anytime they can. Oh yeah, your friend Ethan, right? It's like
that's so funny.
for sure, for sure.
That's so
So
funny. It's funny because
yeah,
we are. I feel like we are members of each other's family. Like
yeah,
you and Kate come to like Christmas all the time, or like you guys are just considered part of the squad too. So it's fun. It's fun to have that.
yeah. No, really, it is. I think we're pretty lucky to have this type of friendship relationship that we're like extended family essentially.
Definitely.
And thanks for bringing this up, man. I think it's really easy to take your grandparents for granted, to be like, this person's annoying to me, or maybe we don't have much in common, or whatever your feelings might be in the moment. But I think it's a good reminder to me just to soak it up. And dang, maybe you should come hang out with us some Tuesday. She
That'd be
can,
sick. That'd be sick.
yeah, dude, for sure. We love to bring people along. Sometimes we'll bring the mother-in-law. Kate will come along. So of
Nice. I'll
course, let's
call out.
extend it.
I'll call out and come on a grandma date.
Let's
Call
extend
out
it to
from
Ethan.
work.
Fuck yeah, we'll come to you.
Oh man, that's
But
funny. That's funny. It's interesting. So I mainly work with like senior citizens through my line of work, and uh, it's so interesting, man, because like there are so many. I mean, there's so many different kind of people, but then there are so many different ways that people adjust to getting old. Like some people embrace that they've lived a long life and they like have this really empathetic, like kind nature towards people because like that's what gets them through every day. And then there's people that are like incredibly resentful about the way their life has gone and like the way that they raised their kids, or, or don't have family, don't have kids. Either they had them and they're not, they're estranged or whatever. And it's really interesting to view, like you're saying, you're really grateful to have your grandparents, and it's really interesting to the flip side of it where there are these folks that like are resentful of their kids or of the way their family treats them, or it's just really interesting. It's really interesting because I've always kind of had a hard time with older folks. Like I've like when I was younger I felt like bored. I was like, what are we doing, like what is happening? And now that I like work with folks a lot, I am like, man, I really took that for granted. Like I really took the time I had with my grandparents for granted. I've really taken like any experiences I've had with seniors for granted before and like trying to soak it up. So I do a lot of like listening to stories, and some are great and some are like, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Like wrap it up, wrap
yeah,
it up, wrap it up. But it's interesting, and I definitely think that they're that overall they deserve more respect from me. So this is kind of me using like a public forum to say that I will do better to respect my elders.
dude, I love this. We'll hold you accountable.
Yes, thank you,
If
thank
you
you.
guys see Ethan out there abusing elders, definitely be like, hey man, I heard you on the podcast. um, so did you get to spend? I know you kind of touched on it, but did you something that I don't think maybe even my friends know, and definitely not our listeners necessarily, is like I grew up in the house with my great grandma and my grandmother, and so we were like eating meals together constantly, and like we were always together. If family was getting together, they were there cooking, clean, and so it wasn't even a question of like if we were going to hang out with them. It was just always like they're just there.
Sure,
And was that
part of
was
the
that
family.
yeah, was that like that for you? Like were your grandparents just like plugged in and like having meals with you every night?
No, not at all, not at all.
So there, I
um
mean, I think you can't really blame yourself necessarily for missing those opportunities because it wasn't like something that you were like naturally doing from a young age, right?
sure, yeah, yeah, I mean, definitely they weren't plugged in the same way that you had yours kind of plugged in, but they also lived out of state. They lived out of state. It wasn't like they weren't coming over.
Yeah.
When we moved to the East Coast or to the West Coast from New York,
Yeah.
it was very much like we would call my nana every Sunday, or she would call us. But when I got older, I just like wasn't interested in having and like spending a lot of time talking to her. And then when my parents got divorced and I wasn't spending a lot of time like with my dad, I wasn't really like making my own effort to then reach out to my nana or my aunts or my cousins. And so like I totally could have, and if I could go back, I totally would. Uh, and so, I still have that opportunity with my aunts and my cousins who live on the East Coast, and trying to do better by that. But
Yeah.
it's interesting. They definitely weren't like plugged in. That's super cool. And I'm sure that sometimes you got like annoyed, like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, just like, I
Well, I
don't
was
need
gonna
this from
say,
you.
like, I think my family moving across the country wouldn't have necessarily been an option because my family was so enmeshed. Like, my grandma would be devastated. My aunt would be like, "Whoa, are you really like what?" So I think it's interesting how there's sort of like a balance between being like a super enmeshed family and being like a really disconnected family.
Totally, totally. I think my dad's family was devastated when we moved to the West Coast. Like I think they were pretty devastated. I think we mainly
Yeah.
did it for like financial reasons. I think because we just couldn't live in New York anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It was way too expensive, and so we moved out here. We found a bunch of other places to live, and or potential landing spots, and Portland was the one. So, but I imagine that like my aunts and my nana were pretty devastated. But
A little more enmeshed. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but they came to visit a couple times.
It's
Uh,
interesting, man. It's interesting these family dynamics and how they can be so wildly different. And like you were saying, like these people that you're interacting with for your job, it's like some people are gracious and humble and lovely, and other people are just like not.
yeah, it's wild. I've seen some seniors do some crazy things out of anger in the moment. Like I've
Sure.
watched this 94-year-old man scream at his son-in-law, being like, "I will get justice upon you. Justice will rain down upon you."
Dang.
Because
Dang.
he didn't want to move into a community, and after I work for a moving company, and moving into this transition into community living rather than living on your own is super hard for people. And from what I gathered in the time that I was with them, it was clear that this family needed that, like very clear, medically wise, cognitive wise. And the grandfather was just so livid, and I understood his rage, but just like watching it come out, I was like, this is intense, and this is like really raw, and holy shit, you're just like yelling at your grandson in front of like a crowd of like 10 people at this point. Like it was a lot. So I hope he's found a little bit of peace. I'm gonna put that on. I hope he's enjoying his place. It was a lovely community. I had some lunch there. Food was good. There were some
Yeah.
friendly people there. I'm there a lot. Yeah, yeah. Really interesting. Really interesting. I'd love to talk about more at some point, because there's a lot. It goes real deep. But cool, cool.
Oh man, I am thought provoked.
Yeah. Have you ever heard the thought that like maybe it was in the off? It's like I think Andy from The Office says it. It's like it's too bad you can't know you're in the good old days when you're still in the good old days.
Oh man,
you know,
I had heard that.
or like the
Tight.
idea of like the last time you ever like hanging out with all your friends outside of your best friend's house, you won't know it's the last time. So like they're like
Yes.
we all had like I mean it's funny because we all have like we have a pretty tight group of friends still, but the idea that like you know there was the last time that we all hung out and played on the tire swing in our friend's front yard or something like that. But we didn't know it was the last time until we never did it again.
It's
It's
shit.
fucked up. It's fucked up. It's okay, man. Don't cry. We're still here. We still love you.
Dude, I was just thinking how like this is the good old days, dude. We're in the good old days right now. This moment is like, remember back when? I mean, it kind of doesn't feel that way, but
I will say there's not a lot about our current times that makes me feel like it's the good old days.
dude, other than this podcast, right? Like
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
episode blank,
yeah.
episode beep,
Yeah.
and we're gonna get down the line to episode 100 and be like, oh, the good old days,
Mhm.
you know,
Totally, totally. Yeah.
when we had no idea.
We had no idea what was coming. We're like little babies, little podcast babies.
Little podcast babies.
Oh man. Man, what is our 100th episode even going to be like?
Oh, let's grab this clip. before we release our 100th episode.
Sick. Nice.
Here it is, y'all.
Nice.
Enjoy. Well, I want to give one quick call out from last episode. We did not say what we ate for the day.
Oh,
and this is something we've decided to remove moving forward. We might bring it back like randomly, right? I think it's maybe an appropriate random question down the line, but we've decided to remove the daily food recap for certain reasons we could share maybe. I don't know.
What if, and I'm just having this thought right now. What if we do like a what's the best thing you ate this week, right? So so it doesn't have to necessarily be like a, because
Ooh.
the reason we wanted to take it out is because we felt like we were just saying the same things over and over again.
I guess we could ask the audience a bit too. Do you guys want us to recap what we ate that day for the week? Did you find that interesting? Was that boring? We kind of went over the same things.
Yeah, that's a good call.
The other thing that we didn't necessarily like about it, or maybe I'm speaking for myself, I think you were on there too, is that some days we just don't want to share.
Right.
Or like some days it's like not that interesting, right? Or it's like, how can I make like my Uncrustable and my coffee interesting? Right? Like I'll say, do I really want to share how unhealthy of a piece of shit I am?
For sure. Like I didn't necessarily want to share that I ate like a double cheeseburger today.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm really curious, like, I feel like this might be a good podcast just to like put on in the background and just do other stuff. I guess maybe that's what all podcasts are good for.
Yeah. It's not like, we're definitely not spewing like a ton of facts. And if we are spewing facts, they're like not super concise facts, so it's kind of just
man. I feel like this episode was packed with facts.
So
Very
maybe
facts, dude. But sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean,
come on.
I think
this guy wants to skip the berry facts.
No. I mean,
sorry.
we're not skipping berry facts, but I guess what I'm saying is I do agree with you. I think it's good to have on like in the car while you're driving. You don't have to pay a ton of attention to stuff. If you're doing like, random homework or you're out on a walk or something and it's just kind of like on in the background. I feel like that's kind of our vibe,
Yep. Just a couple of smooth talkers in the background. Talking
real smooth. Like that? Is that the voice I should bring to the podcast?
Dude, that's the voice you bring no matter what. You don't even know it.
That's what I sound like all the time.
Here we are. Do you feel like your coat is on?
It's funny. I was just about to say, dude, I think I'm heading to the closet, gonna grab my coat.
For sure.
Yeah. I think we are standing around with our coats on. And you know what that means here at Podcast Material. We're standing around with those coats on. So we're going to leave you here. Really appreciate, again, you sticking around with us and giving us your feedback, hitting that like button, leaving comments, and subscribing, leaving us a review would be, again, like greatly, greatly appreciated.
Heck yeah. We appreciate you guys so much and see you in the next one.
Yeah. Stick around and stay tuned.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, chill.